Well, it's sunrise, 13th of September 2012. There's Dwayne Reed pumping himself some water. Time's about 6:30 in the morning, got some cows. Everyone's sleeping at the moment. This is a temporary checkpoint that we took last night in a place called ZUMBALAY, where we've been doing an op since the 9th. Just to let you know what's gone on since then. I'll just give you a quick scope around. As you can see, very different to before. Not much green zone. We're out in the desert. We're acting as a ops company out of Price now. We've been doing this op up into ZUMBALAY, where we were supposed to put in a block, stop insurgents running north to south to take on the ANA. I'm speaking quietly because I'm supposed to be on stag, and it's really early in the morning. The problem is we're totally surrounded by Taliban firing positions now. So I think as soon as it's daylight, if we push a patrol out the front gate, it's just going straight into dead ground, into a killing area where they could have 3 or 4 PKMs onto us.
But we chilled out for a couple of days, really made ourselves at home, got the well working, so we made sure we had some nice cold fresh water. The dog got a rest. A lot of the guys just fooled around and enjoyed themselves because we're just holding the perimeter here, not really pushing out too many patrols, getting some sleep, like you see the medic getting some shut-eye there, and Hawkins also always getting some shut-eye, although he did a very dangerous job on tour, so he deserves it. We also found the main bedroom, which was hey, super sexy, man. They love their color in that place. It looks like everything they bought was from the Chinese store. But yeah, also got my hands on some of the Afghan local police's equipment and weaponry. Got to strip it and have some fun with that.
Well, it's been a number of days since my last recording. It is the 15th of September 2012. And since the last recording, yeah, we had a bit of luck because we were wondering whether we'd have to pull out in the daytime. We had a sandstorm blow in the one day, which ruined visibility. So we had to patrol minimize, which means we don't patrol. So we didn't go on patrol that day. The very next day the well here broke, so we were on a severe water shortage, and the company commander didn't want us patrolling with very little water because it would just make the situation even worse. And that was yesterday, and then we were supposed to pull out at 4 o'clock this morning. Just to speak about yesterday and the day before, there was a mass casualty incident down by the Nez Canal. An ANA, I don't know, vehicle or patrol, it was struck by a massive IED, killed 2 ANA, killed 7 civilians. 2 ANA were also missing. They expected them to be blown into the canal, and also 4 civilians missing. So a hell of a big incident there. And we heard the blast over here, and that was, I mean, that a mile or 2 away, so quite some distance. And you could actually feel the blast in your lungs. You could hear it. And then yesterday at some point. Okay, cool. I think they knew. Yeah. No, I don't. It's the one just directly opposite our extraction route. You're on about M1 at the bottom, aren't you? Yeah, the 4 on the bottom. Just speaking to Garrett there, there's some new holes which have appeared in a compound wall, which is where we are going to be extracting through, which is never a good sign. So I was just letting him know about that. The Queen's Company FSG was also caught in a blast yesterday, and one of their jackals got destroyed. Unfortunately, one British soldier was killed. another badly fragged and another who's not doing so well. So that's the second British fatality while we've been on this op. Although I don't know if they're connected to it or just outside, but that happened. And then last night in Bastion, some insurgents managed to get in, or maybe they were a part of the ANA already in there. It was at the American base, Camp Leatherneck, which is attached to Bastion. And they managed to kill 2 American soldiers and probably wound a lot more. So a patrol minimiser has come into effect yet again, because the hospital's probably quite busy, which means we can't patrol. And we were meant to pull out at 4 o'clock this morning. So it looks like we might have to pull out of here during the day. So what I said earlier about walking out into pre-prepared firing positions might yet come to pass, so we'll see. Got back to the other base safely, and then they started IDFing us. They dropped 3 mortars on us. We got into hard cover, and then that was the end of that. They left us alone for the rest of the night. And then the next day we had to patrol out of there. We had to patrol from that base to Highway 1, where we'd get picked up by Mastiffs, a distance of about 2 kilometers, and we'd go past a Danish patrol base as well. We got all our kit on in the morning, everything we had to carry on our backs, and amazingly the Mastiffs, the armoured vehicles, were going out on the road, and we were putting a screen out to the east to protect the Mastiffs, which doesn't really make much sense to put people on the outside and armour on the inside. Wasn't armour designed to be between the firer and the people? You know, the armour protects the people, not the people the armour. But apparently the geniuses above us thought it would be a better idea for the people to protect the armour. We stacked up inside the base ready to go, and literally there were a couple of guys outside doing a vehicle checkpoint, and a single round from a sniper hit one of the guys in the lower back, just above the arse cheek. He went down. The shot went out, man down. A couple of guys from our base ran outside, got him on a stretcher, brought him back in, treatment was given. He was okay, he was conscious, he was talking, and a MERT medical helicopter was called. But it wasn't a good start to the day, where we hadn't even left the base yet and we already had our first casualty. We fully expected to get contacted when we left, and that's exactly what happened. We walked out the base. I was probably about 50 meters outside the base, and all hell broke loose. We were fired on. You'll see on the video where the enemy rounds actually landing in the desert in front of us. We returned fire, or at least I tried to. I got one round off, and then surprise, surprise, for the 6th or 7th time this tour, my weapon jammed, and it was a bad jam. I wasn't just getting one round stuck, you know, 2 rounds were folding in on each other. It was just a complete dog show. So I quickly realized I was incapable of firing any rounds, and so I just resorted to the good old 40mm grenade launcher. I put 3 grenades perfectly on top of this compound where the firing position was, at a distance of about 300 meters. It was really some good shooting, but it was very frustrating. You'll see half the video, my weapon's aiming at the floor. We've got the firing range next to us. They're just practicing on the range. Brilliant. Just wait for them to stop. Yeah, my weapon's pointing at the floor half the time because I'm trying to get the jam out my weapon, but it didn't work. Eventually we were told, right, peel right, and we had to do a peeling run for about 200 meters across open ground under fire. I got off another UGL, but then I was fuck's sakes. But then I was out of UGLs. Here's a guy, here's with the dog team, he's training his dog. Obviously an American dog team. Yeah, once my UGLs were finished, that was me. I couldn't fire any rounds and I didn't have any more UGLs. We carried on peeling for about 200 meters. Eventually we got out of contact, walked to the Danish base. What a cool bunch of lads. Hell of a nice to us, and they really know how to fight proper. You know, they're proper soldiers. They're not more worried about how long your sleeves are. They're worried about if you're a good soldier or not. One of the things, you know, one of my bugbears of this tour is that, you know, I think they think we're on ceremonial duties out here, and they're more interested in if you've got creases in your pants than if you're a good soldier. Anyway, also got a photograph with a MG3, which is the newer version of the World War II MG42 German machine gun, which is an absolute beast. Beautiful weapon, so I'm very happy I finally got a photograph with that, got to hold it. And then we bugged out another kilometre further on. We were at Highway 1, where we waited for the Mastiffs, climbed on the Mastiffs, and made our way back to Price, where I've now handed in my electronic countermeasures, I've handed in my night sights and all that serialized kit. So to all intents and purposes, my tour is over because I will not be going back on the ground. I'm now just waiting to hear when my flight is. It should be in the next 2 days or so. Go back to Bastion, probably 2 days in Bastion, and then fly out. Although Bastion's a bit of a mess at the moment because insurgents managed to break in. They killed 2 Allied soldiers, wounded another 13, and they managed to destroy 5 American Harrier. Yeah, they destroyed 5 American jump jets, damaged another 2. Yeah, Sebastian should be fun. But soon I'm off to Cyprus, it's tour over, and then in a month's time I head off to America and then Australia. So that should be my tour. Yeah, well, once it's over, I'll have a think about it and give a sort of synopsis of the whole tour and how it's been. But there's a lot to talk about, a lot of disappointing things, a lot of quite good things. But I'll let you know all about that at a further recording.
So yeah, eventually the day arrived. I got into Chinook at Camp Price, flew over to Camp Bastion. It's the last time I flew on a Chinook, one of my favorite things in the world. It's an absolutely beautiful machine, and the sound of it when it flies over London today I still recognize, and it gets your heart rate up. Once at Bastion, we obviously got on a much bigger aircraft, flew out to Cyprus, where we had 2 days of decompression, which is supposed to let us unwind before they unleash us on the civilian world back in the UK. You know, we get a bit of time down at the beach, hell of a good fun. There are a lot of boat rides, you know, things to swim out to. And after, you know, being in a country where you hardly see any water, and the water you do see is the colour of coffee, it's lovely being in a crystal clear ocean where you can swim, you're not confined by body armour, and you don't have to worry about somebody shooting at you. And then you get taken to Akrotiri Airport, you get put on a RAF jet. It's more of a civilian type airliner than those military aircraft that you saw earlier. And you fly back to civilization. And for all intents and purposes, the tour is over, you've made it, and you finally get to relax and see your loved ones again, and think about what you have been through in the last few months. And so, as I said at the beginning of the video, I didn't set out to, you know, offend anyone or hurt anyone's feelings or anything like that. And I don't want anyone to think that this is a concise history of the Grenadier Guards tour that I was on. It was purely my experience, the way that I saw it, the things that I were told, and the ways that I reacted to it. So it was my experience. And like I said in the beginning, everyone else's experience is different. I hope this video, it is a little bit long-winded, but I wanted a lot of the guys who were on the tour with me to have an opportunity to maybe see themselves as much as possible and reminisce about the places they were at. And I hope that this movie in some way helps them, or you know, brings back good memories and helps them in some way, because I think, you know, whether it was good or bad for many of the guys, you know, it was a pivotal time in their life, and they do look back at it as a time where they, you know, did do extraordinary things with people who they developed a great bond with. And I think now in the movie I'll put in a section to the guys who were not so lucky, who maybe paid the ultimate price, and they should really be remembered for the sacrifice that they made while we were over there.